All set for the fourth round of the AA Fleetcare Touring Car Championship. Mike Briggs and Paul Radisich swap roles this time around, with Briggs in pole position as the lights go green and we're underway. And there's trouble in the middle of the field. Someone's gone sideways. That's Cyril van der Merwe in the Sassel Ford Mondeo who's in the wars. And there's plenty of pushing and barging as the cars try and find a way through Holshoek. More drama. Someone else has gone off the circuit. It looks like Grant McCleary in the Opel. We are with the race cam in Anthony Taylor's Toyota Camry, and he was hit by debris from the Opel Vectra. And now Taylor's in trouble as the Castrol Camry has nudged off the circuit. We have action aplenty at the start of the fourth round of the AA Fleetcare Touring Car Championship. A look at the replay of the McCleary incident, and it looks as though the Opel tangled with both Terry Moss and Nick de Waal. And the race has been stopped. The red flag is out, and clerk of the course, Brian Hoskins, has stopped the race. There was so much bumping and barging going on, it's almost impossible to say who did what to whom and where. Briggs and Radisich escaped the mayhem behind them, but there's some battered machinery out there on the grid. That's the McCleary Opel.
Well, we just went into the first corner, and Terry just squeezed me wide onto the dirt, and I was a nose in front of him, and looks like it's front of the car's a bit damaged, though.
Cyril van der Merwe's Sassel Ford Mondeo is also looking a little worse for wear, and up and down the grid there's some frantic activity going on.
To try and know what happens in a first corner accident that in fact had 3 different people involved in accidents, 3 different accidents in 100 meters, to try and unravel this one, I think it will take us until about Christmas time. I don't know yet. Each driver's got his own version of what's happened, and afterwards we can go into it. But in fact, it's a new race, so it's almost irrelevant, except for the damage in terms of a monetary cost for the cars. The rest of it's irrelevant. It's a new race now.
Everyone is patched up and ready to try again as the race is restarted. Briggs and Radisich are away cleanly as the pack streams off after them. They're at it again. A BMW is into the wall, and that's Dion Joubert. His race is over, and Cyril van der Merwe was a player in that incident as we go to race cam with Grant McCleary, who's fourth behind Mike Briggs, Paul Radisich and Geniel de Villiers. It's almost a carbon copy of the third round, except that Briggs is out in front a lot earlier. Briggs leads from Radisich, de Villiers, McCleary and Moss. Nick de Waal is fifth with Chris Aberdeen behind him in the second Rothmans Audi. First heat winner, Kurzy Swanepoel, is down to third in Class B as we go to the race cam in the Van der Linde BMW Envirocar. The South African champion failed to finish round 3 and will want to pick up a point or two in this race. In front of the BMW is Mike White in the Minolta Camry as Van der Linde goes a little wide at Sabat. Less than a lap completed, and already there's a little gap opening up between the first 3 cars and the rest of the pack. Cyril van der Merwe is still going after his coming together with Joubert and is fighting his way through the Class B cars. Action from the Anthony Taylor race cam. He has his sights set on Terry Moss, who's lost a place to Nick de Waal. The Castrol Camry is alongside Chris Aberdeen in the second Rothmans Audi as they head for Holshoek. Aberdeen is inside the Camry and has the tighter line and will force Taylor to go wide as up ahead Moss tries to attack de Waal. Back to the leaders, and Mike Briggs is starting to edge away from Paul Radisich in the Sassel Ford Mondeo. Once again, Radisich has a shadow in Geniel de Villiers in the BP Nissan Sentra, but a good battle is developing behind them with McCleary, de Waal, Moss, Aberdeen and Taylor all involved. Briggs wants to make it 4 in a row in the AA Fleetcare Championship, and he's going about it the right way. The gap between the Opel Vectra and Radisich is gradually increasing, but Geniel de Villiers in the BP Nissan Sentra is not letting the world champion get away from him. Just behind de Villiers, the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th is still raging, and there could be action from that little bunch of cars. Anthony Taylor is in the thick of that action in the Castrol Toyota Camry as he squeezes inside Terry Moss at Stanley Corner. Taylor is past one Rothmans Audi and has another one in his sights. The Camry is pulling alongside Chris Aberdeen on the pit straight. Taylor found himself in exactly the same position on the previous lap, but that time Aberdeen managed to hold him off on the inside at Hole's Hook. Can he do it again? No, Taylor's picked up another position as we go back to the Class B battle. Duncan Foss is still ahead of third-round winner Kersey Swanepoel and has got himself embroiled in a scrap with Steve Wyndham in the Tolman BMW. This is first time out for the Tolman car, which was only completed hours before the start, and there's still an awful lot of development work to be done. Wyndham is another Cape Town driver and knows Killarney like the back of his hand. He just manages to hold off Voss with Swanepoel and Jess Huggett in hot pursuits. The halfway mark of Mike Briggs is busy stamping his authority on this race. Here's a nice cushion over Radisich, but the world champion cannot shake off Geniel de Villiers in the BP Nissan Sentra. De Villiers is the reigning South African standard saloon car champion, but already he must be the find of the season in touring cars. Racecam action from the BP Nissan Sentra, and de Villiers is starting to climb all over Radisich. He wants second place and is starting to make a nuisance of himself where Radisich is concerned. The Sasol Ford Mondeo is starting to look a little twitchy, and Radisich may have a problem. De Villiers couldn't be closer to Radisich, and the Ford suddenly slowed and then veered to the right. De Villiers had to take evasive action, but the Ford is out of the race, and De Villiers is in second place. It looked as though something may have broken on the Ford. As Radisich walked away, it looked as though a side shaft had broken. More drama up ahead of Grant McCleary, and this time it's the Toyota teammates Anthony Taylor and Mike White who have tangled. The two Toyotas made contact and Taylor has spun off at Sabat. This is not a pleasant place to go off, but it looks as though White may also have a problem as McCleary steams past them in Alta Camry. Duncan Foss and Kersey Swanepoel are still at it in the Class B battle, and their duels have been the highlight of the day. Racecam action from Geniel de Villiers in second place in the BP Nissan Sentra, and he has a problem. Something's broken on the Nissan. It's going straight in on Hole's Hook. Contact with the tyre barrier, and what a shame for Geniel de Villiers. The coming together with Paul Radisich must have damaged something on the Nissan, and what a disappointment for de Villiers. Out goes Geniel de Villiers. Mike Briggs in the Opel Vectra is cruising to his fourth win in a row, with Nick de Waal in the second BP Nissan, trailing the championship leader by over 12 seconds. Mike Briggs takes the checkered flag and has maximum points in the AA Fleetcare Touring Car Championship. There is a measure of compensation for Nissan, with Nick de Waal coming home in second place ahead of Terry Moss. The Class B battle, once again, has gone to Kersey Swanepoel, and he also has a full bag of points from 4 outings.
I got out, there was a bit of trouble behind me, and I just used the opportunity to get away. You know, I could use the fast lines, the clean lines, and they were having to fight each other. So a textbook race for me. I couldn't have asked for any better.
And Kersey, another one.
The same. I didn't have a clean start like lucky as Michael did. I was in the mingle there in the first race. Bumped the car in the front, nothing serious damage. Luckily the car was fixed. Started in the second heat, it's a bit better. Unfortunately, Jess Huggett got by me as well. Duncan nearly pulled the gap. But I managed to catch him and take him in the inside of holes, and it worked out the right the last 3 laps.
I come out of the top corner there, and the car just locked up. It either broken something in the differential department, and it just locked up, and he was right behind me and couldn't sort of get out of the way and sort of pushed me. But it was just purely because I'd lost all drive, and he was still had his foot hard on the throttle. So it was just one of those incidents that happened.
Don't miss rounds 5 and 6 of the action-packed AA Fleetcare Touring Car Championship at Aldo Scrivanti this Saturday, 11 March. Be there or see highlights in the AA Racing Report exclusively on NNTV Sport on Saturday, 18th March. The AA Fleetcare Touring Car Championship, Africa's most exciting racing formula.